revisiting my dreams with the king.
Just us talking and some, small talk. But I like the TSU alumni banner in the back.
Oh yeah, man.
Represent.
Every time I get on, I try to wear a t-shirt or something, man. Just,
But your daughter had basketball? Is it basketball?
Basketball. Today was, they made me the president of the Booster Club. So today was a Booster Club meeting. I had to get
volunteer.
Yeah, I did.
It was really good, and like you said, refreshing to get out and re-energize and reconnect. You see so many people I saw so many people that I haven't seen in so long. It took me a second to realize their name. Like, oh, I know exactly who that is, and I know exactly where I know them from.
Yeah.
But what's your name? What's your name again? What's your name again? And then when they walking away, I'm like, damn, that's such and such.
I've been coming to homecoming since '86 because he was in the band. I was 12 years old. I've been coming to homecoming. And I had my great aunt. She just passed away in April. She was 92. She went to TSU. Mm-hmm. My great uncle Dorsey, he went to. So we go back to like the 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all got legacy
in my family. It's like spiritual when I go back.
For me, it's a little bit of that too. I didn't have any family that went there, but from Vallejo before I went there, Dr. Fillmore Graham, rest his soul, Omega, brother from my hometown, he graduated from there in engineering many years ago, and then his son Montoya Graham graduated from there.
Oh, Montoya, I remember Montoya.
I feel like there's a piece of us on TSU's campus always because of the people who went there.
Yep. I speak on Vallejo, man. Like I do, man. I'll be like, man, my boy from Vallejo, man. I know a little something, Cause I was gonna stay in Chicago, and then he's like, nah, man, you wanna go somewhere else? You want TSU? He's like, man, you can be in the room, and this person from here, this person from here, this person from here, this person from here, and he's like, you just don't understand. Then I remember meeting you, and like I knew zero about Vallejo. You know what I'm saying? I had been to Oakland, I had been to San Francisco years ago, years before that, but like I didn't know anything about the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Vallejo. And I remember you showed me a click tape. The first time, man, we chopped it up. I don't know if you remember, like first time I really met you, man, we chopped up your room a long time. Early in the school year, and we connected. We was like this. I mean, we wasn't aces, but we connected early in the school year. I just remember being in your room for a long time, man. Just you playing music for me from the Bay, and I was like, man, who is this? He's like, Mr. Click, man. They had the plaid flannel and stuff. I'm like, man, who is this, man? Mr. Click. And then I think that next year, that's when E40 really started popping nationally, and it was
when Sprinkle Me came.
Yeah, and the video was on the box, and the video was coming on the box, and so I was there. I was like, that's who Johnny was talking about, and really got into the whole independent thing. Like I'm learning about all JT the Bigger Figure, like all these Bay artists. Like I know a kind of Bay artists that some of them I haven't even heard their music, Johnny. But I was a fan of the business person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard all of the music, but just
the business.
Just a fan of
individual.
Yeah, that's what I was a fan of. It's like, man, y'all doing this?
Yo, good people, welcome to another episode of The Ride, a journey to your dreams. I am your host, Johnny King III, aka Still Chill Leroy, and this is the Revisit Your Dreams podcast right here on the Revisit Your Dreams channel on YouTube.com. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you as an audience for tuning in, for subscribing to this channel, for watching these videos. As always, I have a very special guest to introduce to you today. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you of what we're doing here at Revisit Your Dreams. Here at Revisit Your Dreams, our goal is to inspire, to motivate, to encourage, to explore real life stories of trial, error, and success, and maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. Today's episode is titled, or Who Told You That You Were Naked? We'll explain that title further in just a moment. But I want to introduce my very special guest to you today. My very special guest to you is a native of Chicago, Illinois, currently residing in, pronounce the name,
O'Shea.
Goshen, Mississippi. I didn't want to mess it up. I was getting ready to say Gator, Mississippi. Goshen, Mississippi. We'll explain that in a moment too. He's an entrepreneur at heart and a passionate innovator, always seeking to remain in a growth mindset. He's the author of the Dynamic Growth Mindset book, Who Told You That You Were Naked? He is a husband, father, and proud graduate of Morgan Park High School in Chicago, Illinois, and of Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. In 2004, he earned a master's degree from DePaul University in his hometown of Chicago. He is a fellow Tennessee State University classmate, and since day one of meeting him, he's always been a very low key and a very solid stand up dude in my book. Please welcome to the show my very special guest, my TSU homie, author, Dorsey West. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Johnny.
Man, welcome, man. I thank you for being here. I thank you for doing this. We go way back to, 1992. I actually like to start off each episode by letting the audience know how I know each guest.
Okay.
Each guest is somebody that I know personally, somebody that I've had a relationship with, some longer than others. Me and Dorsey go back to 1992, Tennessee State University, Watson Hall, second floor to be exact. Dorsey's from Chicago. I'm from Cali. We connected freshman year, and just had kindred spirits and been kind of cool ever since then, man. Just saw him recently a few weeks ago at Tennessee's TSU's homecoming, and it was great to reconnect with this brother. But we'll get into more of how I know him and some of the things that we've done, come across one another. But Dorsey, what's your recollection of our connection?
Oh man, early on. When I got to Tennessee State, I knew a couple of brothers, Dave and Tim, that I had known for years, but just branching out, meeting new people, that's a big part of that college experience and going away and just meeting new people. I didn't know who I would meet, and I just remember, I want to say, within the first few days, I met you, and we just clicked right away. I remember, just being in your room for like an hour or two. Nobody knew where I was. I was down the hall. Nobody knew where I was. And we just got to talking about music. I know we kind of really first connected over the music. And then, we just had so much more in common. But I just remember that from one of the earliest days. And we've been good ever since, man.
Yeah, man.
So it's a blessing. Like I say, look back, we talking about 33 years now. It's a blessing, man. So that's my early recollection. And you just always been a good brother, man. So, like I said, that's a blessing. We had a tight floor. People don't understand, like you called out the second floor of our dorm, Watson Hall. It was unique. The bond, I've never seen so many young men just bond like that, the way that we did. We weren't military. We weren't fraternity. I mean, not a Greek fraternity. We were a fraternity, but not a Greek fraternity. We just bonded from one end of that hall to the other, and you had people from across the country, and
everywhere.
I think everything is divine, man, and just for God to bring all of us together like He did, that was special, man, and people recognize that. Other people recognize that. People across the campus, they recognize that. It's like, man, y'all tight.
We was really tight as a whole floor, second floor.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember during either one homecoming or something like that, African Street Festival, we bought T-shirts, had T-shirts printed with like where we were from on, and second floor posse on the other sleeve, just the whole second floor, and we all had the same shirts. And we, like you said, people from everywhere: North Carolina, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Memphis.
LA.
Me from Cali, people LA, from everywhere, people from everywhere, St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? People from everywhere. So it was so fun, to meet every one of those individuals. I remember, Tim, Magic, Sleep, Snoop. Well, Sleep was on another floor, but Snoop, all them dudes,
Yeah,
man.
that showed the bond
You
because
know,
people.
Ish.
Snoop was on the first floor. He's literally the
Mm-hmm.
first person I met at TSU outside of the people that I knew. He was literally the first person I
Mm-hmm.
met just outside the dorm the day we moved in. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
"You from Chicago, ain't you?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cause I am too. I know you are." And we met and went back to his room and just chopped it up. And he was on the first floor, but we were like a magnet because people from other
Mm-hmm.
floors would come
Go
and just
second floor.
chill with us. It's like this, like
Yep.
something special going on up here. And
Yeah, we had when we played intramural basketball and intramural
softball,
softball.
yeah.
We had an intramural softball team, Watson Hall, and most of the people on the team was second
I
floor.
remember coming to
You know
watch
what I'm
y'all
saying?
play because I can't play no softball,
Yeah.
but I remember I remember coming to watch y'all
Yeah.
play, man. Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, we won the whole thing. I know we beat the Qs, beat the football team, beat the Alphas. If I'm not mistaken, we won the whole
yeah,
thing
y'all
just
for
as
real.
freshmen.
You and Juju
Yeah.
and all those guys, man. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
B Cam, man, there was a lot of people out there, man, doing their thing. But man, let's go ahead and get into the show, Dorsey. We could reminisce all
Yes,
day
sir.
because we got a lot of good memories. But that's our connection. That's our recollection of that connection. And man, I want to thank you for being here. But let's go ahead and get straight into it. I forgot about Siku too. My bad.
Can't
Shout
forget.
out Siku Char,
Can't
man.
forget.
All right, man. Your book release. Who told you that you were naked? What is this book about, and what can readers expect to get out of it?
This book was really it's part of my healing process. Just dealing with mental decades of mental health challenges that I didn't even know that I was dealing with. And this book for me contains a lot of the like philosophy and strategies and just mindset shift that helped me to heal and overcome anxiety and depression and the things that go along with that. And so, God inspired me to write this book, to share, with other people. And it's a short book, and it's intentionally that way. I'm an avid reader. Big on nonfiction. I'm always trying to learn, and I've read a lot of books on mental health and healing. So good books, but a lot of times they're long, and there's a lot of good content. There's a lot of good content, and when you're dealing with like mental health, when you're trying to get better, it's just like if you have a cold or if you had a flu and you had these symptoms, you're just trying to feel better as quickly as possible. And so
Mm-hmm.
the strategy behind writing this book was to condense things and just really just get right to the point so somebody can pick it up and start getting that knowledge and getting those strategies that they need to just immediately start feeling better or start feeling better as soon as possible. So that was kind of the premise behind it. um
Oh,
I'd like to think it's simple. I like to think that I broke things down simply, and like I said, all that's by design. I'm
mm-hmm.
trying to help as many people as possible feel. I'm trying to help as many people as possible feel better as quickly as possible. So that's the goal behind it.
So, would you say that it is a quick roadmap to relief, like resources, or is it more, study these techniques on how to control these areas of your life? Is it a quick roadmap, or is it like something you have to apply to your life, the daily
I
life?
think it's more of an eye opener. I think it's more of the answers are in front of you, and open your eyes, open your mind, look at this from a different perspective, and you can find immediate relief because I got the title from the Bible, in the book of Genesis, and I think most of us know the story of Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve ate from the tree that they weren't supposed to, and before this, they were naked, they didn't have clothes, they there was no shame, they didn't need to be, it was
Hmm.
perfect, in the Garden of Eden where they were, and it said in the Bible that Adam would like walk and talk with God like every evening. That was their
Hmm.
thing. And he was hiding from God. Like after they ate this fruit, he was ashamed, and they said, they saw each other, they realized they were naked, they tried to make some clothes out of some leaves, and and they were hiding, and God came at the normal time that they would walk and talk together, and he was hiding, and God asked Adam, like, why were you hiding from me? And he said, well, I was naked, so I was ashamed. And God asked him, well, who told you that you were naked? And that's where I got the title from. And that line right there was really life-changing for me, because when we talk about being naked, it's not necessarily physically naked, not having clothes. It's just, for me, it's believing that you are lacking something, believing that you need something that you don't have. And for me, and in talking to other people, I feel like that's a common sentiment for me. That's what drove a lot of my anxiety. That's what drove a lot of my depression, feeling like I don't have enough. I haven't done enough. I haven't accomplished enough. And you look around you, marketing is all about, because you and I, we talk about business. We've been talking about business for 3 decades. Marketing is all about convincing you that you don't have something, or you need something that I can sell you. That's marketing. Whether that need is real or perceived, that's marketing. You don't have this, but you need it. It's like, man, you're right. I do need that. And it could be anything. It could be a car, it could be a house, it could be a watch, it can be certain type of food,
lifestyle.
Yeah, just anything. And if you're not conscious of it, if you're not conscious of these messages, like, and I quote in my book, and I looked this up because I would hear it a lot in just taking marketing classes and studying marketing. Like, on average, people are bombarded with, like, we're exposed to like 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages a day. That's from emails, text, pop-ups. I mean, it's so sneaky. You can check your email and you got advertisements on the side. You got advertisements across the bottom. I mean, it's just, you leave, you're passing billboards. I mean, so basically, from the time you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, somebody's telling you that you need something. You're missing something. You're naked in some way.
Yeah.
And then with the advent of social media, I mean, that has just like compounded everything, because it's one thing to see a commercial, see an ad. They try to make ads to meet certain demographics, right? So, we African Americans. So, they find out they ain't gonna show us ads with African Americans and, things like that. That's one thing. You kind of know, you can kind of see that. But social media, now these are people I know. These are people I went to school with. These are people I grew up with. And man, Johnny just got a new car. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm happy for Johnny, but at the same time, it's like, man, am I supposed to have a new car? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We came in TSU 92 together.
At the same time.
Yeah. He seems like he's doing a lot better, whatever that means. He's doing a lot better than I am. Like, am I lacking? Did I, and I mean, there's studies that show, that really drives a lot of depression and anxiety for people, because they're constantly looking at what other people are doing, and they're like, man, am I doing enough? Am I enough? Am I, my image, my just whatever. And if you're not careful, man, you can get caught up in that, and till you reach a breaking point. And that happened to me. That's what really happened to me. And it really took me to understand I really have everything that I need. Really have more than I need. Most of us really have more than we need, and we just don't realize it. And when you can come to that point of acceptance of yourself, and like, I'm good. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. I'm good. Man, it's like liberating. It's liberating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man, I appreciate you breaking it down in that way. And readers, if you tap in and grab that book, you can expect to get those things out of it. I dealt with anxiety myself. I dealt with depression myself. Through COVID and shortly after COVID, and it is a very challenging thing when you don't understand the source of your anxiety. You don't understand the source of your depression. So first you got to recognize what it is. I didn't even realize it was depression. I just, I did realize I was anxious,
mhm,
but I didn't realize I was depressed. And it wasn't until like your book suggests. I haven't read the book yet, but I do intend on reading that book, Dorsey. But but your book suggests that if you don't need it, let's find a way to eliminate it from your life, seemingly creating a pathway to making your life better and easier and more peaceful.
mhm,
And I recognize that exact need to, eliminate things from my life that what was not serving me well, and that was adding to that anxiety feeling of, comparison and contrast to other people or to where I thought I should be at this point in my life, those kind of things. And it wasn't until you kind of I stepped back and compartmentalize what's going on in my life and said, I'm going to deal with things one thing at a time, and I'm only going to take on what it is that I know that I can handle at the moment. And if it's not crucial to me handling at the moment, I'm not even going to,
mhm.
in my mind, I'm not even going to pursue it. It does it, I had to almost eliminate it like it didn't exist to me for a moment
Okay.
in order to get that clarity back, and in order to re connect with myself internally so that I can reduce that anxiety. I won't have those feelings. But I think that, the nature of your book will definitely help. I look forward to tapping into it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be purchasing that in the next day,
Okay.
probably tomorrow. I'm going to be ordering it tomorrow, and I want to get that book this weekend. And I'll be calling you next week to tell you how I enjoyed it. I'm
I
sure.
appreciate that.
Um, but man, I know that that's a very big help for a lot of people. A black man yourself too, having the the consciousness to express those things and the courage to express those things as a black man. Sometimes it's challenging to show that, hey, there was a time where I was weak, I was suffering, I needed help. I didn't know where my left from my right, where I was going. And there's power in expressing that, and there's also power in helping others see that if I found my way, you can find yours. So, man, I appreciate you, Dorsey. I think that's amazing from a black man, from a TSU graduate. Not just that, not an HBCU graduate. That it's impossible for us. It just shows the value and the variety of talent that comes out of an HBCU. People think that HBCUs is just, it's a substandard education,
Oh
and it's far from it.
no, absolutely not. And just to touch on what you said about, man, even at homecoming, like I announced, I published a book. I officially published a book like end of August. I think it's like August 27th. I didn't make an official announcement until like first week of October. I mean, I shared with my family, like immediate family members, but
Like a month ago.
I didn't even make an announcement. I mean, it was on Amazon and everything, but I didn't make like when I posted to my social media account, and it just so happened that it was October 10th. It was World Mental Health Day, which I didn't know, but
Hmm.
I don't believe in coincidence, so
Yeah.
it worked out for me to post, and that was a Friday evening, and I remember, because even though I wrote the book, a lot of people still didn't know about the things that I had been through, and challenges I had faced, with mental health and everything. It's in our community, in the Black community. I mean, it's just not what we do.
Hmm.
We it's almost a stigma behind that. The problem is, because of that stigma, So many people suffer in silence, and some people don't make it through.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, and that's real. And it's like, oh man, you know, man, he took his life. Like, I can't believe that. I didn't know he was, you know, dealing with all that. And to your point, 1995, I had a suicide attempt. Senior at TSU. Um,
Oh, at
at
TSU?
TSU. While I was a student, I
Wow, I
was
didn't know
living
that,
off
Dorsey.
campus.
Yeah.
Tim knew. He got me to the hospital. Dave and Kenton, like, they knew. They got me to the hospital. They got me to Vanderbilt Hospital. But so many people didn't know, and I'll tell you that it was a Sunday evening. They got me to the hospital by like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was released from the hospital. Came home. My mom and sister, I guess Tim called them. They flew down, and they were there. They got there, and they were home with me for the next couple of days. And you know, I was back in class Wednesday. Nobody said anything. I didn't have to tell them not to say anything. These are just like unwritten rules. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
say anything. I didn't say, "Hey, man, don't tell anybody what happened." They didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Kind of like, don't ask, don't tell, whatever. And I'm back on the yard again. I've known you for over 30 years. That's something I'm sure you never knew.
First time I've heard of that.
Nobody knew, and I didn't get treatment after that. You know, I remember the next day. I guess they released me to my mom's custody. They really should have kept me. They should have kept me. And I'll tell you one thing. I've done a lot more research on mental health. There's a disparity in African Americans who go to the ER for like mental health crisis. And there's a study. There's actually studies that have been done where we'll get released. We'll get sent home. No follow up. Nothing. You know, people from other races, they'll get all these resources and all this follow up, and we basically just get sent home. And that's what happened to me. And with me being sent home that day, I guess they sent me home with my mom. I guess that was the idea behind it. Well, he's with somebody. And I remember we went to see. I'm assuming she was a psychiatrist. Like the next morning, like later that morning, and we went. And I remember we were sitting in this lady's office at Vanderbilt, and she was talking. We were there like 10 minutes, and she said, "Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try something." And Johnny, I'll never forget. I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "Are you about to tell me that I need to take some medication?" And she said, "Yes." I was like, "Oh no, just like cut the tape. Like I'm out."
Done. No, we're not going down that
And
road.
I told her, I was like, "I'm telling you right now, you can prescribe. I'm not going to take it. So if we don't have any other options, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel fine now. We can go about our way." And I remember they scheduled me for, I guess, a therapy appointment like the next week. And just to show you the mentality, the Magic City Classic was going on in Birmingham, like that weekend. And Tim was going. And I'm like, I remember calling my mom. I was like, "I'm not going to this therapy appointment." She's like, "Why not?" I was like, I'm going to Birmingham, you know. And it's so crazy because, okay, a week ago, I'm in the hospital for a suicide attempt, but like, I'm good. Like, that's just, yeah, it just happened. You know, we're all good now. Had they held me for 72 hours, you know, usually that's the standard. They hold you for 72 hours. When you have a mental health crisis, you report to the hospital, emergency room, they'll hold you for 72 hours. And you'll get psychiatric evaluations, and you know, like, you can't leave. They take your things, you can't leave. Had that happened to me, it would have impacted me differently. I would have felt like, oh man, I guess this is something serious, you know? Like, when these doctors are talking to me, I can't go. What do you mean I can't leave? I can't leave. But they let me go. So I was like, okay, yeah, well, it happened, you know. And that's what happens. And that's what happens to us, and we don't realize how serious it is, and
Yeah, and
until it's too late sometimes.
yeah, the next time you're in that situation, you're like, well, if I go back to the hospital,
Yeah,
they just gonna
there's no point
tell me
anyway.
I'm good, let me go. So no point, and then you end up suffering it on your own and dealing with it, and you might succumb to it.
Right, right. And it's something that
Um,
if you don't deal with it, it's gonna get worse. It's it
yeah,
it's gonna manifest in some way. Um,
yeah,
and there are physical effects too, right?
mhm,
Hypertension, high blood pressure, just things like that. It affects your health, and you don't
mhm,
even realize it. And you think you're being tough, and you think you're being a man. It's like, well, I'm a man. I have to,
mhm.
these things I deal with, and it's not good for you. It's not good for the people that love you either,
Yeah.
because
It's not. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say they care about you. The people that are closest to
Hmm.
you can see differences, right, in your demeanor, your mannerisms, you're not yourself, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And
Hmm.
I'm sure you like, I'm good, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good, and they know you're not good, so it's stressful for them. So it affects everybody, everybody that
yeah.
cares about you.
It's ironic that you made that post on, Mental Awareness Day, what was it?
World Mental
World
Health
Mental
Day.
Health
I
Day.
didn't even know it was a thing.
You know, yeah, not even knowing it was a thing or knowing you posted it, and then there happened to be like around Tissue Homecoming weekend, so you got a lot of interest. A lot of people were commenting, probably all throughout Homecoming was talking to you about your
Oh
book,
yeah,
asking you about it. Did you get what was that kind of response like?
man, it was validation. It was confirmation. It's like, you're an artist. You know, if you make a song, if you produce a track, while you in that zone, while you producing, it man, it sounds like the best thing, to you.
Hmm.
And you like, oh,
Hmm.
this, what y'all saying about, like, this slap, right? And then
Yeah, yeah. That's slapping.
till you actually get to where, oh, well, I'm gonna let somebody else hear it. Now, when you ready to let somebody, now you start second guessing yourself. Like,
Hmm.
man, is that snare right?
Do a
Is
slap for
that
real?
right?
Yeah.
Is that, then you might start comparing. Oh, well, such and such just put this out. This doesn't sound like that. Like,
Hmm.
oh man, his bass is like, my bass is like, you know, you
Fact.
start questioning yourself. So you're like, I don't know. And that's what, when I was talking earlier about, how I published it, but I didn't really let anybody know. And as I was writing it, man, I knew this is what I needed to be doing. I knew I
Yeah.
was speaking my truth. I knew this could help people. But then once it was published, it's like, okay, now let somebody know. It's like, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
When was it? When was the actual publication? Because you made that post, early part of October. But when did you
I,
actually publish and
I
release
want to
it?
say the official date was August 27th, when it was officially
Okay.
available on Amazon. So you're looking at about
Okay. So it
6 weeks.
took you about 6 weeks to start telling people, "Hey, it's out
Yeah,
here." Yeah.
like wholesale, like
Yeah.
social media, like, just
Yeah.
everybody. Because
Yeah, your family knew, and people
right,
around you might talk to. I released a book, but in order to in terms of promoting it publicly, no, you hadn't done that until it was about a month
I
later.
hadn't done it, and even with your family, right? You wonder, like, are they being nice? Are they
Hmm.
are they just saying that? Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
just to put it out there. And social media, you have so many connections on social media, you forget.
Hmm.
Oh, I used to work with this person. I knew this person in a professional capacity. I used to, I was neighbors with this person, people that aren't as close to you. And
Hmm.
as we say, you're putting your business out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but the response, like, at homecoming, um, before I tell you, I bumped into JoJo. Um, I saw James Ford when
For
I
love.
saw Ford when I was walking up to the pep rally. And
Hmm.
I was like, "What's up, Ford?" And he was like, "Come here." And Ford, you know,
Yeah,
he's
for
like, "Let me tell you something. He's like, he hugged me. He's like, man, I'm proud of you. He was like, what you do? I mean, he just spoke into me, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Ford is deep, you know,
That's what Ford gonna do every time too.
I mean, and for him to be the first person, I mean, and he gonna look you in the eye, and
Mm-hmm.
if it's garbage, he gonna tell you it's garbage. you know,
Mm-hmm.
Ford gonna give it to you raw, right? And he's like,
Yeah.
no, this message needs to be heard. And he told me something, Johnny. He said it had to come from you. He said this needed to come from you. He said, because you that dude, man. And
Mm-hmm.
for you to say it, he's like, it had to come from you so people can see, man, he went through this. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And it was the ultimate compliment. And I'm like, man, for
Mm-hmm.
real? And from that point on, people I didn't even know had seen the post or were aware of it. I mean, they would just, thank you. That took courage. That was, I appreciate it. I've gotten phone calls. I've gotten phone calls, people I hadn't talked to in years, my brother's friends, who always kind of looked at me as just like the little brother, messing with me,
Yeah.
talking to me like, nah, man. I talked to one of my brother's friends for like 2 hours. He called me and he was like, I mean, just breaking down. He's like, man, you probably know more about me now than you've known in the past 30 years. I mean, people just opening up. It's like, yeah, I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. Because I put it out there and I raised my hands like, yeah, me. And then other people are like, well, me too.
Mm-hmm. It's power in that, man. There's a lot of power in that. And if you're watching, this is what this podcast is designed to do, is to encourage you, to motivate you, and to strengthen your desire to pursue your dreams. Because, this is not necessarily a pursuit of a dream. It's just a calling, something that he had to do, something he felt compelled to do to help other people. But, he didn't have to make that post. He didn't have to hit send. He typed the post out and was very descriptive about his experiences and then hit send. And there's power in just doing that. There's power in being open to expressing yourself and to sharing with others, something challenging that you might be going through, because not only can it help others, but it might inspire and encourage you, that you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. Your time is valued and wasn't for nothing. Like all that time you spent researching and writing the book, now that it was for a purpose. It was for a reason.
Yeah.
It impacted one person, two people, three people, many people. So I want to encourage you out there to pursue your dreams, make that post, write that book, submit, make that submission, whatever it is. Go ahead and do that. Dorsey, I thank you for doing that and being an inspiration, man. We're gonna move on. What events in your life would you credit as the catalyst to writing this book and releasing it? You already talked a little bit about some of the things you went through, but and you don't have to be super specific, but in terms of writing the book itself, like what made you say, you know what, I got to actually start penning this book and putting something on paper to get out to the world?
I would say, like, I reached my lowest point in this, I guess, this mental health journey 2 years ago, like May of 23. And I was actually hospitalized. And I didn't even realize I was hospitalized. And I'll tell you why. Because I went to a mental health, I think it's called like a mental health mental health wellness facility. It was, I'll just describe it now and I'll maybe give you a better picture. So it was in West Palm Beach, Florida, a volleyball court, swimming pool. Is your meals were cooked to order. I mean, it was. I felt like when I looked on the website, it was like I didn't want to go because I felt guilty. Because
I feel like I'm going on a vacation.
And I got wife, I got children, I got, and I'm like, that really hindered me from like just jumping on board. I'm like, this is not fair. I'm be down here chilling, and y'all dealing with all this stuff, and I can't do that. And I credit my wife because she, she kind of put the hammer down It's like, nah, you can't keep doing this. Like you need help. So, and my therapist at the time, she was like, you got two choices, because she actually found a place, and she's like, you gonna go here, or I'm gonna make a phone call. She's like, if I make a phone call, you going to a state hospital, and I'm in Mississippi. So she was
Yeah.
like,
Ooh.
trust me, this is not where you want to be, but you're going somewhere. So I'm like, all right, okay, Florida it is. And I went there, and it was a reality check once I got there, because I mean, it's voluntary. So, I mean, you can leave, but if you leave, like, it's a wrap. Like, that's it, But
Yeah.
cameras everywhere. I mean, yeah, it's kind of resort like setting, but cameras everywhere, and I had never been in a situation like that. I had never been in a situation where there's it's so structured. And from the time, like, we got up at like 7 a.m. and there's cook to order breakfast, but then you're in therapy sessions from like 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. It's like a job. It's like a job, and being in that, I was there for a month before I came back home. And they tell you while you're there, they're like, this is ICU for mental health. This is just to get you to where you can go back home and start getting better. Like, don't fool yourself, because if you're in that environment, because at first I was in like a shared room, and then, like, as you get better, you kind of get more freedoms and privileges and stuff. So just to give you some context, by the second half of my stay, I was in a brand new renovated apartment. I had two televisions, bedroom. But I mean, it was like, really, I mean, you get used to it,
Yeah.
and you
Like,
like,
man, I ain't going back
yeah,
home.
because like, just like at home, people like, man, we didn't know how good we had it in college, kind of like
Yeah.
that. It's like, I got this brand new apartment, basically. I got all my meals are cooked to order. Like, like, I'm
Yeah.
not working, I'm on leave. I'm like, so you can kind of you can fool yourself and get lulled into thinking, you forget, like, dude, you are in a mental hospital. Like, like,
Yeah.
let's not lose sight of that. And that's one reason I wanted to get out of there also. I mean, I wanted to get back home to my family, but I didn't want to get too comfortable. And I've seen that happen, because, like, you can some people there like 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's not reality. You there to
Yeah.
get better. you know,
Exactly.
you there to get better, so you can get back. And so coming back home from that, and they told me, they said, your next 12 months is gonna be hard, but you're there. Like I said, you're in a relaxed state. You really bond with the people that are there. People from all walks of life. Everybody is everybody is so warm and loving, because they know what you're going through. You're around a bunch of
Yeah.
people that know what you're going through. When you're dealing with mental health issues, and you're at home, most people don't know what you're going through. You're around a
And
whole
you think it's just you.
yeah, you're around a whole group of people, and who are sharing and open and transparent. And while I'm dealing with, oh, you too, oh, me too. So it's
Yeah.
but it's not real life. And so, yeah, when you get back home, it's like a reality check. It's a total difference, and that was tough. And that whole year, that next 12 months, like they said, it was really tough. And it was times I it's like, I just want to give up. I just, you know, and then, a lot of prayer, a lot of work with good therapists, a lot of work. I can't stress that enough. You know, if you pick up a copy of the book, there's strategies, but you have to get help. You have to work with somebody. You cannot, I don't care who wrote it. You can't read a book, and it's just like, if you break your arm, you can't read a
You
book
could,
and I set my bone and I'm good. You have
yeah.
to rehab. You have to, or God forbid you develop some form of cancer. you know,
Mhm.
yeah, you can eat better and exercise and take care of yourself, and you need to do those things. You need to help yourself, but you need
Mhm.
oncologists. You need support. You know,
Yeah.
you can't
Can't do it alone.
you can't do it alone. You can't read a book and say I'm good. You can't do that. So that whole process, and then finally getting to the point of where I can honestly say I'm better. You know,
Mhm.
I couldn't have written this book
Mhm.
a year ago because I wasn't better. It would have been
Mhm.
it wouldn't have been authentic. It wouldn't have been genuine. So I got
Mhm.
when I really got to the point where I was better, when I really got to the point where, I've overcome this. And as I say in my book, it's something you deal with every day. I still
Mhm.
deal with depression. I still deal with anxiety, but it doesn't I don't succumb to it. It doesn't overcome me. So
Mhm.
you still have to every day.
Yeah.
You working at it every day.
You just got more tools to fight with now.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
confidence. And so when I got to that point where I can look somebody and I can look you in the eye and say, yeah, Johnny, I'm good. Man,
Mhm.
I'm good. It's tough some days, but man, I'm good. Now I can write this and now I can share this.
Yeah.
Because it's authentic. Because I can say, yeah, I know what you've been through. I know what you're feeling, and I'm telling you, you can get to the other side of it. And that that
Yeah.
that was the point where I said, okay, I need to write this. I need to share, because I can really speak on that.
Yeah, that's the power in it, man. Having gone through that experience, having lived it yourself, having gone through the roadmap of recovery to getting to where you are, is what I think uh, backs the power of the strength of the words in your book, and the message in your book, because you're not just somebody who got a degree and knows a little bit about the subject matter. You're not just somebody who experienced it on a shallow level and you're trying to write a book about it. You've experienced all the way to the depths of it, to almost taking your own life, and to turning your life over to another entity, so to speak,
Yeah,
to help you back to just baseline normal.
right.
And there are a lot of people who are in that position or who are trying to prevent getting there, and that's the power in your book that you can help them with, right?
Absolutely. Like for me to be able, and the facility that I was in, and I learned so much because it was also a drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility. We were all there together, and
Mm.
there's it was two.
So it's a blend,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was two tracks. There was a mental health track and a substance abuse track. And I talk about this
Mhm.
in my book. So when you would get there, that's like when you meet people. Like I said, I met you for the first. Oh, what's up, Johnny? My name is Johnny Dorsey, and they say, are you mental health or substance abuse? That was always
Of
and
course, the icebreaker,
yeah,
huh?
and by the grace of God, I've never had a substance abuse issue. And
Yeah.
people like you mental. Oh man, no, I'm mental health, man.
I
Yeah.
ain't substance abuse.
But after a short time, you realize it's no difference.
Yeah.
What I learned from being living, eating, sleeping with people who were dealing with substance abuse issues, they were just trying to self medicate. We're all dealing with the root, the anxiety and depression. We were all dealing with that. It's just
Yep.
for this person, they self medicated with alcohol. For this person, they might have self medicated with cocaine. You know,
Mhm.
but we were all just trying to make ourselves feel better. You can self medicate with food. You can self medicate with work. That's what I did.
Mhm.
That drove a
Mhm.
lot of my entrepreneurial pursuits was trying to uh, achieve some level of success to make myself
Mhm.
feel better. So like, okay, if this
Mhm.
idea takes off and I make $1 million, then that validates me. So I would just work, just not stop moving, just constantly moving,
Yeah.
constantly trying to do something. And some people are looking at it like, oh man, you just a hustler, man. You always, but I'm running for my life and not even realize it.
Yeah.
You at the culmination of my, I guess, healing, you played a big role in it. And I've been meaning to tell you this. And so
Who, me?
you, and I'm gonna tell you.
What I
And I
do?
was so glad when you invited me here because I want to be able to say this publicly. I can't tell you the date. I can't tell you. I want to say it's Facebook. You made a post, a video, short video, and you talked about failure. And what you said, what you said was failure was a necessary ingredient for success. You were like, it's not even optional. Like you have to fail in order to be successful. And I mean, the video was like a minute. And that's what you broke down. That was a breakthrough for me. You don't even know. That was a breakthrough for me. I
Wow.
don't even know when you posted it. And it was like you were holding the camera. It wasn't this like formal with the lighting and all that. I want to say you were outside, man. You were just holding the camera. I guess you were inspired to say it, and you were just like, failure is necessary for success. Like you have to fail in order to be successful. And a light, just the switch just flipped for me. And so the things that I thought that I failed at, maybe ventures or something like that I thought that I failed at, and I beat myself up over. I'm like, but I had to do that, and it came from you. So,
Wow.
like, this come from Johnny. I felt like you were talking to me, so you probably, you were, didn't know it, but you were. But I'm like, this is Johnny. So this is authentic. And that was a turning point for me, because from that point forward, I looked at failure differently just based on that video. It made so much sense for me. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I have to. And then seemed like I saw more things to kind of support what you said. I saw more people kind of speaking on that. I might have read some more articles on that. And I'm just like, man. So I've been waiting to tell you that and how much I appreciate that. And thank you. That helped it helped save my life, helped change my life.
Wow.
So
That's wild. That's wild to know, Dorsey, and I appreciate that. I'm just when I made that post, and I do remember I make a number of posts, but I think I remember that post, and I know I've said that multiple times because I learned that in the past, hearing it from someone else, and it hit me like, you know what, you're right. And it wasn't till maybe the last 2 years of my life that I started realizing that you're right. Failure is inevitable. Every single person that has walked this earth that has been successful in something has failed many times along their journey to getting there. That's how they became successful, because they know the ins and out. They know what to do, what not to do. They know what don't work. They know what do work, because they didn't try it every way in the book, and they didn't quit. And so, one of these days, something is bound to pop, something's bound to work. And all of the experiences that you attempted in all of those businesses in the past are the catalyst to the success of releasing this book. Because, that is the one, not that it's the only thing that you've done successfully, but it's the one thing that you've completed, that you've been proud of, that is impacting other people and is actually in line with who you are as an individual. Not that the other things weren't, but now this one thing might be the Kickstarter to some of those other ventures that you tried in the past. Now you have a different mentality and mindset on how to approach it.
Oh yeah, I've got that knowledge. And now this is one thing I've said numerous times to people, like education costs. So like we went to college, there's tuition, you pay for that. If you start a business and let's say that business isn't as successful as you want it to be, you learn from that experience. So you might have invested money, you might have invested
I'm
are
sorry.
you good? You might have invested money and time and everything. That comes at a price, right? That costs.
Mhm.
So education costs, no matter how you get it, from the
Yeah.
streets, in the university,
Hmm.
education costs. So the things that didn't turn out the way that I wanted them to, I look at that as the cost of education. And like
Hmm.
everything that every venture, everything I'm doing now has built on the things that I did in the past. And
Hmm.
it's like, okay, all right. So if I would have maybe tweaked this and gone this way, this time it'll be more successful. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you trying something, man, it's worth it.
It's worth it, man. You stick to it, stick to your guns, and keep pursuing that thing. Keep pursuing it. First, you got to start,
Yep.
and then you got to not quit. That's it. You got to start, and then you got to not quit. And eventually you're going to get there. If I want to walk from Vallejo, California to New York, New York, I'm gonna have to take one step at a time.
Yep.
It might take me, 10 billion steps to get there, but at some point I'm gonna reach it if I don't stop walking,
And
right?
once you get there, you gonna get you get so much praise and so many accolades
Hmm.
and so much attention. It might have taken you 10 years, but once you get
Hmm.
there, like all these blessings, they're gonna be released, and
Yeah,
nobody's gonna talk about how you got stuck in Kansas for 3 months. Like nobody cares. It's just
exactly.
like sports.
You made it.
Yeah, it's like you from the
When
Bay.
you went,
Steph could go
go
0
ahead.
for 20, right? If
Hmm.
he hits a game winning three, that's nobody's gonna be like he went 0 for 20. It's gonna be like,
They gonna be like, that's that game he went over
yeah,
20. They ain't gonna say that's the game he went over 20. They'll say, man, that's the game he hit that game winning
that's
shot.
it. That's it.
They ain't gonna even think about the over
That's
20.
it. That's it. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how I approach things and look at things now. You know.
It's power definitely, man, in that philosophy and that approach to life and to your ventures, man. Um, Um, Dorsey, man, you've already talked about it a little bit. You tapped on your entrepreneurial ventures a little bit, and to me, you've always seemed to be ahead of the game and on the edge of innovation. Creative. You've always been a creative person. You've always been a little bit ahead of your time, in my opinion. What has been some of the ideas and the concepts that you've pursued in the past that may have been ahead of their time?
Man, I'll say, you and I, we talk about independent hip hop music a lot, you know,
Hmm.
and I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s. I was really trying to build an online platform for independent artists, to where, because at that time, there was no social media, there was no YouTube. I mean, you had to go through major record labels, you had to go through corporate owned radio stations to get your music out there. And I was
Hmm.
trying to build an online platform where people could just hear independent music and just learn about independent artists. I think that was ahead of its time in that the technology wasn't there. You know, 99, 2000, everybody didn't have high speed internet. Um,
Hmm.
there was no iPhone. There were no smartphones at that time.
Hmm.
So now it's just so ubiquitous. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody can watch videos on their phone. Listen to music.
Even the babies.
Yeah, even the babies listen to music, download music, things like that. The When I went to DePaul, study telecommunication systems. The telecommunication systems, that infrastructure wasn't there. You know, just in the
Hmm.
last 5 years, we're really getting into nationwide 5G. You know,
Yeah.
coverage. So that wasn't there. So I had a lot of artists who were on board. I had a lot of artists that I worked with and became friends with. They were like, yeah, like yes, yes. Um, Unfortunately, the technology wasn't there. It's there now.
Mhm.
It's there now, and it's been a blessing and a curse, for hip hop. When we were in college and we were getting into it, if you were
Mhm.
producing music independently like we were, and trying to work independently, like you had to make a sacrifice. Like you had to take what little money you had and go to the pawn shop, and I'm gonna get some equipment. I'm a
Mhm.
now anybody with a phone, there's so many recording apps and everything, and so
It's better with AI right now. You can make a song and you don't even gotta
right.
know how to. You don't need to know nothing about
You
music.
don't have to love it. You don't have to have a
Yeah.
passion for it. You can just do it to be
Mhm.
doing it, and it shows in the artwork.
Mhm.
And even now, like I'm studying AI now, because I'm in technology. I think there's an opportunity though, because I was discouraged for a long time. I'm like, I was like, it's so much garbage out here, because
Mhm.
anybody can put out a song. It's so much garbage out
Mhm.
here. Like it's done. But there's an opportunity now to pick out the authentic, to pick out the art from people who truly care about the art, who are truly trying to. If you can sift through that garbage, just the sheer volume,
Yeah.
and you can pick out, you know, those artists and those songs that are like, okay, this person, he or she, they really care about the art. They're really trying to say
Mhm.
something, and you can what do they call it? Curate.
Like curate.
Yeah, and you
Curate.
can
Yeah.
curate and present it to people. I mean, there's serious opportunity there,
Yeah.
like serious, you know.
I believe so. Like, I mean, even some of the major platforms have, like, they encourage you to create a playlist and share that
Mm,
playlist with others. There's, it's, that's a dumbed down version of what you're talking about, but
yeah.
I think it's powerful. I got a question for you. What is there a major platform or service in existence right now that resembles what your vision was back then?
Oh man, it's now I will say the difference now is like you said, you got YouTube, for example.
Hmm.
Creating a channel within YouTube, curating that music, that's kind of akin to what I was seeing. Um,
Okay.
you know, so I wouldn't say YouTube itself, but
Hmm.
you know, forming your lane in YouTube
Yeah.
within YouTube, and then getting enough
Yeah.
people to say, okay, like he has a really good ear, like
Hmm.
like because
I'm gonna tap into
yeah,
this.
because people are this is one thing I've learned, man. People are lazy, you know.
Yeah.
They want you to just hear, and
Yeah.
because of that, that's why there's so much. Man, I'll just be honest. That's why there's so much garbage out here, because people are just
Yeah.
willing to say, if somebody, if a corporate conglomerate or whoever says, okay, this is what you should listen to, they're just like, all right, okay, this is
Yeah.
this I should be
Hmm.
listening to, you know. So
Hmm.
if you can present yourself with some credibility and consistently uh, find these hidden gems,
Hmm.
there are enough people, because there's product life cycles. There's you got your early adopters, and then
Hmm.
they kind of like they kind of set the standard, and then
Hmm.
more people will start catching on, and then eventually it gets, if you can find some early adopters who really say, hey,
Hmm.
you know what, man, Johnny constantly, man, they just bangers, man. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how he's finding these people. Like, you need to check out this channel, man, or you need
Yeah.
to check out this playlist, like for real. It
Yeah.
it goes back to the old school record pools, when the
Hmm.
DJs, and they would subscribe to record pools, and they would send the DJs, like, copies of new singles and stuff like that. And so the record pools that were finding the really good, really good records and consistently sending those to the DJs, they kind of rose above, and it's kind of like that now. That opportunity is there now.
Yeah.
If you can do that, if somebody can do that, I think there's really, really good opportunity for the culture as well.
Is that something that you might consider pursuing in your future,
Man,
or revisiting in your future?
just talking to you just now, I'm like, that's it. like, like that's it.
You
I thought it
know,
was a lost cause. I thought, like you said, you were ahead of your time. Like, yeah, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, I can do it. Like,
you
like
can.
that's not,
People would tune in. People, and you don't have to have a million people
no,
tuning into it, Dorsey. I mean, if you got 50 to 100 people that's consistently tuning in, it's gonna give you the drive to keep going, and it'll grow from there.
yeah, that's
You
and that's
know,
something, man. We you and we gonna talk about that. 'Cause I
absolutely.
respect your ear, and
And I respect
that's
yours, and I respect your innovation and your vision as well. So, yes, for sure,
we
man.
we
Let's
we are
keep that
going
one
to
on the
yeah
forefront.
we are going to revisit that. Taking us back to the second flow, man, and we are going to
For
revisit
sure.
that.
For sure, Dorsey. I'm down with that concept for sure, man. For sure. Hey, all right. So, we just talked about it. We touched on it briefly. What is your take on the use of AI in our society today?
I'm glad you asked me that. Like I said, I just earned a certificate from Vanderbilt on prompt engineering for AI. I'm taking another
Congratulations,
certification
man.
course. Thank you on using more generative AI and advanced data analysis and things like that. I got into it because I was reading so much about AI, and you hear AI and AI is scary, and so I'm like, okay, I got to see what's going on. I ignored it for a while. I'm like, whatever. But I'm like, okay, this is, it's kind of getting kind of real. Let me see what it is. And the more I'm learning about it, it's I look at it as another tool. I don't look at it like the doomsday scenarios, the AI taking over the world, and you need you need genuine, authentic subject matter experts to sift through the output that AI gives you. And that's one thing this professor he keeps stressing in this one class that I'm taking is like, you have to fact check. You have to validate, what AI is giving you. People talk about Chat GPT, and if we're speaking on, and so let's relate it to the book, right? I can use Chat GPT or another AI, large language model, and I can put the prompts in, um, write a book, for me, that will help people overcome, anxiety and depression, and it's gonna spit out a book, okay?
Yeah.
But I've lived it. You know what I'm saying? I've been hospitalized. I've been medicated, so I can look at this output and it's like, no, no, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can give
You
you,
fact checking Chat GPT.
yeah, so I can give you my book,
Yeah.
and I can give you the book that Chat GPT um generated, and
Hmm.
you say you recognize the real, game
Yep.
recognize game, right? It's that
Yeah.
that that's a timeless concept. So if
Yeah.
you've dealt with anxiety and depression, and I'm speaking on anxiety and depression from somebody that's been through it, and we've got this, it's let's remember, it's artificial intelligence, and you've got this artificial intelligence that's you can see right through that, and it's like,
Hmm.
nah, we gonna listen to what Dorsey's talking about. Like, I don't know who wrote this book right here, but we gonna listen to Dorsey. I mean, some people will go for it, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
real's gonna recognize the real, and
Exactly.
that's my take on art. It's a really good tool. Yes, it can. I mean, you can upload a spreadsheet, And what would have taken me, I'm not very good at Excel, but what would have taken me weeks to do pivot tables and, come up with these graphs and stuff like that. Yeah, you can say, analyze this spreadsheet, give me 4 graphs, that show me the results of XYZ, and and it's gonna do that. And so that's a really good productivity tool. But you can't replace heart. You know what I mean? You can't replace creativity just because it generated a video model of something or an image of something. That doesn't mean it's creative. If I paint something, if I make a song, and I'm writing lyrics from the heart about something I've been through, AI can generate lyrics that rhyme. Like, okay, these rhymes, these words rhyme, these lines rhyme. You're not gonna feel from those AI generated lyrics what I put my heart into. And that's the part that people don't understand. And so I feel like AI should be scary for people that aren't real. If you just making music trying to make some money, yep, you should be afraid. If you putting videos on social media, for shock value, trying to get views and likes, yep, you should be afraid. If you real, if you in this, you got your home studio, you know what I mean, and you spending hours perfecting your craft, whether it's music or whether it's art or just coaching people, you had nothing to be afraid of. In fact, there's an opportunity here because it's gonna make you look so much more authentic and so much better when they put the fake in the real. It's like if you get some home cooking, and somebody comes from McDonald's or something like that, it's like, you know what I mean?
What we doing?
Yeah. What is
which one you want? What you mean? Which one I want? I don't want to eat that if I got this.
Right. What is this? So that's the way I look at it, man. The more I learn about it, the less I'm afraid of it. I think the problem is people, like we talked about, because it takes effort. Most people aren't going to learn about it. The media is going to say, and we'll get back to who told you were naked, right? You're not using AI, you're naked. You know what I'm saying? You're not incorporating AI into every aspect of your life. You're naked. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to use AI. Don't even know what you need to use AI for. You just like, I just need to use AI, and I think there's a lot of opportunities, man, for people like you, creators. I tell my daughters all the time, you can be a producer, you can be a consumer. Like it's one or the other. And the real producers,
Tell my daughter the same thing.
the real producers, they're gonna stand out more and more in this artificial environment, man. The real is gonna show even more. So, man, we had a good time, man. We're at the cusp of a renaissance. We're
In technology.
Yep, we're at the cusp of a renaissance, and just in art, just in creativity. People who are really creating, people who are really. I saw an ad on YouTube of you've probably seen it, man. It's some software, and it does all your chords for you. And they were like, they were like, man, you don't even have to write music anymore. This will write the music for you. And I was always like, but man, what's the fun in that? Like, what's
here's to take that a little further. It's like, okay, no disrespect to anybody who uses those tools and finds value or get something out of it, but the when you say real, recognize real, if I'm a real music consumer, eventually I'm going to want to hear more from said AI artists, or I'm going to dive a little deeper into said AI artists. And there's only so far you can go with an AI, with an AI artist. or some AI art, because when I want to go see that person live, where are the shows at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I want to go buy a physical, tangible, piece of product from that, where am I getting that from?
Yeah, because
You know, and is there ever a real human being attached to it other than just an image? Do I ever get to see a real human being, some real human
it connect.
emotions attached to this song? Yeah, connection.
Yeah, because the what I'm learning about AI is, so you've got these supercomputers, and they learn. So they scour the internet, and they're fed books, they're fed music, they learn. So you think about that concept. They're not really creating anything. They can only create, so to speak, or generate. It's not because they're generative, right? They can only generate
Yeah.
based on something they've already been fed. So
Hmm.
where's the innovation? If all I can do is when they came out back in the day, they'd have the sample CDs and the drum sample CDs and everything. So if
Hmm.
all the artists were using these same drum sample CDs, eventually that's going to be exhausted, and there's not going to
Yeah.
be any innovation. But if you and I, man, we got all these albums, these LPs, and we listening to these obscure records, and okay, I'm gonna sample that kick, and I'm gonna sample that snare, and it's like
Hmm.
everybody else is using these prepackaged, CDs, and now you using
Yeah.
these kicks and snares that you've lifted off vinyl, and it's like
Hmm.
you're gonna stand out. I mean, just your drums. Like,
Yeah.
man, Johnny's
By the
drum
drum
stand.
sound.
Yeah. So,
You could be using all the other stuff prepackaged and just sample some drums from a different source, and like, wait a minute, that song stands out from everybody
something is
else's.
different. I hear something
Yeah.
different. So
Hmm.
that's the thing to remember about AI. It's only as good as what has been put into it. No,
Yeah.
it's not creating anything. It's generating. That's what they call it. Generative AI. It's just generating based on um
Your
what's
input.
what's been consumed. That's it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I said, there's so many. There's opportunities there. The select few are gonna stand out. You know,
Yeah.
so keep innovating. Keep producing. Keep producing from your heart, and it's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, we got to run that idea, man, because there's a lot of quality music that deserves to
Oh
be
yeah,
heard,
yes,
and people want to consume and go to a source where, like you said, some people are lazy. A lot of people are lazy. Hell, when it comes to certain things, I'm one of them. Like when it comes to certain music, I'm either gonna go to somebody I always listen to,
that's what I'm doing.
or I'm gonna go to a playlist that I listen to all the time, so I ain't got to think. Just let it play. I know I'm gonna like what I
Yeah,
hear, even if I heard the song a million times.
yes,
You know, and so that's the power of that concept that you're talking about. That's why it still has potential. We gonna tap in on that, man.
absolutely.
Um, all right. So as we mentioned earlier, you attended both an HBCU in Tennessee State University and a PWI when you got your master's from DePaul University
Hmm.
in Chicago. So talk about your HBCU experience at TSU and how it contrasts or compares to your PWI experience
Man,
at
man,
DePaul.
my HBCU experience, we don't have enough time, man. So I just
Yeah.
I can speak on that for days.
We talked about it earlier, and I still got some of that. So just kind of sum it up in brief.
There was it was like a village, a family, a community at the HBCU, and I'll give you an example. I had classmates that went to like state schools, PWIs, University of Illinois, stuff like that, and I could remember when I got to like my major classes. I was a political science major, and I could remember most of my classes were 12 to 15 people in my major at the most. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have a professor. That's another thing. All my professors were PhDs at TSU. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
had classmates at PWIs And they were like, yeah, we're in an auditorium. It's like 300 people. And the graduate assistant is teaching me. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm in a class with 12 people and I got a PhD teaching me, you know?
Yeah.
So just things like that. I can remember math was never my strong suit. And I remember taking I think it was college algebra or something like that when I was a freshman. Man, I studied. I tried my best, man. I went to study sessions, everything. And I think I got like a C on this final. And I can't remember the professor's name. It escapes me right now. But he said, I got office hours. He said, if you don't like your grade, come see me during office hours and we'll go over it. And I remember going to his office with this C. And man, we went there 2 hours. I didn't have an appointment, anything. This man his brother sat with me for 2 hours. We went over every answer that I got wrong on that test. And he was like, okay, why did you do this? You know, and I walked him through, okay. He was like, okay, you were good until this step. He's like, so, you know, I can give you partial credit for that because I see where you were going. And this is, you know, and man, by the time I was done, I had like a B on this test. But the other part of that was, man, we talked about, he used to be in the Nation back in the day. I mean, so interspersed with, we going over this math, he's talking about life. Then he's like, man, you look familiar. You know, I tell you, my brother went there. I was like, yeah, we know. Oh, that's your brother? You know, so I mean, it was just, you know, and so.
You're not getting that experience at DePaul.
No. And when I went to DePaul, I applied for this graduate program, and I'm political science. This is an IT, you know, because I did a certificate there. And the dean, when I was getting my certificate, I was in class. The dean's name was Helmut Elp. This is this German guy. And he came up to me during the break, and he was like, are you pursuing a master's here? Any graduate work? I said, no. He said, you should really consider that. And I was like, okay. You know, so I applied. And there were prerequisites because I came from a social science degree. And I remember his professor, he called me to his office and he was like, yeah, I wanted to see you before this class started. It was one of the prerequisites. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is a statistical analysis class. I'm like, yeah, it says I have to, it's a prereq. And he's like, but I see you have, it was an Africana Studies course on quantitative, qualitative. He said, well, I see you have this course. And I was like, okay. He was like, well, let me ask you some questions. And man, we sat down and talked for like 20 minutes. And then he smiled and he was like, yeah, I'm waiving this prereq for you. He's like, you learned this already. He's like, I'm waiving this for you. This is coming from TSU. This is coming from when I went to TSU, I had classmates. It's like, why you going to TSU? I had teachers. I had some teachers. Like, you can go anywhere. Why are you going to HBCU? It's like,
so, in high school.
Yeah. And you know, I'm at DePaul, and then it was crazy, man, because I'm at DePaul and we're in this grad courses, and between me answering questions in class and the quality of the work that I was turning in, and I get, you know, we get our tests back and like, what you get? It's like, you know, I had, man, people from all over the world, you know, and when it's time for group projects, they were like, hey, you know, you want to work with me? You know, and it's just ironic, you know, that you hear so much about HBCUs. I'm in there, they like, man, your work ethic, like, I want to work with you, because the professors I had at TSU, you know, like Dr. Sandra Holt, I remember her, she was one of them. And she was like, oh, you don't turn in anything without a cover. Oh, you don't turn anything that's not, like, what is this handwritten? No. That's not what we do. You know, just learning those things, like they weren't accepting substandard work.
Yeah, at all.
So when I got to DePaul, that's just what I knew. That's just the way I knew how to study. That's the way I knew how to approach my studies. That's the way I knew how to approach my tests, my assignments. And other people from all these PWIs, and like I said, people from different parts of the world, they like, yeah, we we trying to work with you, like, And man, I graduated 4.0 from DePaul, man.
Wow.
4.0.
And off the strength of the experience you got from your HBCU
So,
time at
social
HBCU.
science major with a computer science degree, man, on a graduate level, because of what I learned at TSU, because how I learned to approach academics. So
Yeah.
I think those are like the biggest differences, is the investment that the professors and the staff, the investment that they make in you. You know, they're not going to allow you to shortchange yourself. You're going to bring out the best in you to prepare you to do whatever it is that you want to do, man. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
difference.
So hey, if you're watching and you're listening and you're considering, if you're a high school senior right now or a junior and you're considering the PWI or HBCU, take this into consideration, because there's some value in going to that HBCU that the PWI or people who try to encourage you to go to PWI might discourage you from going to an HBCU because of, and there are actually benefits to you.
Oh yeah.
Smaller classroom sizes, more personal connection, intimate settings, the relationships that you build with people, like-mindedness, a lot of people that look like yourself. So, I mean, it's just a whole nother experience when you go. And I don't discourage, PWI. My children, all three of my older children went to PWI. My daughter's in high school right now. She is not interested in going to Tennessee State University. But you don't know what you don't know until you go to a homecoming. You were like, man, we didn't have none of this where I went with. I mean, that's the kind of, and that homecoming is not it. That homecoming is a reflection of all the years of camaraderie and friendship and love and all of that energy that just rekindles on a campus, on an HBCU campus every year. So
I'll add to this, man. And I'm biased, but it's true. Tennessee State is on another level, because I know people who went to HBCUs, and I'll talk about TSU and they're like, what? And then they come to homecoming and they're like, what? like,
yeah,
like y'all on something else.
yeah.
Like, I would have
Mhm.
people visit. I had several people that came to visit while I was at TSU, and it's like, man, y'all,
Mhm.
this is different. Like,
It's a whole nother
there's
level.
HBCUs and there's HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
TSU is like, y'all on something else, man.
TSU one of them
It,
ones.
it, it is.
When you talk about HBCU experiences, TSU one of them
No,
ones.
seriously. We're not the only one, but
We one of
we
them
one of
ones.
them.
We one of them though. We one of them though. And a lot of people don't like to include us, but when you come to a homecoming, you're gonna stop excluding TSU from that
Oh yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You're gonna
We,
realize,
we
yeah,
we won't be
TSU is
denied.
gonna be at the top of that conversation once you come to a homecoming.
Yeah, we won't be denied.
Man, you were born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, one of the largest, most heavily populated cities in America.
Yes.
You graduated from TSU and you went back north to Chicago and earned that degree at DePaul.
Yes.
What in the world prompted you to move to the furthest, most southern city in the South
Man,
of Mississippi?
I yeah. My mom, man. She was down here.
If y'all look at the map, and for Gaither, Mississippi, it's like you can't go no further. You're gonna be in the Gulf
No,
of
yeah, you're
Mexico
gonna be in some water.
in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah. 10 minutes and I'm in the Gulf. My mom was here, man. She was down here. She retired. She was born not too far from here, but in Alabama. And when she
Okay.
retired, she and her husband, they moved down here. And unfortunately, she lost him to cancer maybe about 7-8 years later. And
Mm.
she was gonna move back to Chicago. And at the time, I wasn't married, didn't have any children, and I'm like, nah, you can't come back to Chicago. It's like, nah,
Right.
I can't let you do that. So
Too wild.
I came down here, and I always like to visit. We're like an hour, 15 minutes from New Orleans.
Mhm.
So there's things to do. Beautiful weather. It's warm. I like warm weather. I like water. So, but visiting. When you go visit your family for a few days. It's fun. It's it's fun. It's that's what it is. It's like vacation. Living somewhere and visiting somewhere, it's two different things. And I remember when I moved here, it was an adjustment. There were things I had to adjust to culturally. I got pulled over. So we're between Louisiana and Alabama. I can get to either state in like 20, 30 minutes. I got pulled over, and I tell you, it's funny. When I came down here, my dad had given me a car before I came. Dude, it was a pearl white Cadillac Seville. It had Vogues. It was,
Balls, yeah, mustard and mayonnaise
when I got down here, I got pulled over like 3 times in 30 days. And
just being in that car,
they
knew you was black.
I didn't get pulled over in Chicago. Nobody looked like
because they knew you was black in Mississippi. Man. You was one of them in Chicago.
And I was working in Mobile, Alabama, and I had a partner. He's really cool. He's from there. His name is Shannon. And I came to work because on the way to work. Like, that was like the last time. Man, I was so frustrated. He's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" I was like, "Man, I got pulled over again, blah, blah, blah." He said, "You got to get rid of that car."
For real,
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you got to get rid of that car." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Yeah, that's a D-boy car." And I was like, "But in Chicago?" He's like, "You ain't in Chicago." He's like, "You in the South." And that's a D-boy car. He's like, "So if you want to keep having mornings like this, you keep driving what you drive." He's like, "Otherwise, And I got rid of it and got something more, I hadn't had a problem since.
That's wild, man. That's a wild correlation between Chicago and Mississippi, and the analogy between the two cities and all of that, man. And I have family that live in Mississippi. I've been to Mississippi before many times. Spent weeks there.
Yeah.
So I got love for Mississippi, man. I couldn't live there though. Oh, I got love for Mississippi, but I
tell you, man.
I don't know how you.
I'm gonna invite you down. The coast is different. Where I am,
okay.
Chevron has a big refinery here. Ingalls Shipbuilding is here, and then there's Keesler Air Force Base that's here. Those are like the 3 major players. We're on the beach. It's tons of casino resorts. If that's your thing, it's a vacation area. So if you come to the coast, even like I can drive, like even my daughter's playing high school basketball, and their school's 30 miles north, and I'm telling you, I'm like, it's dark. We need to get home. 30 miles north.
30 miles.
Just 30 miles north. I mean, you are in the country. Like it's what you would think when people say Mississippi. Where I am, it's a lot more cosmopolitan, and you have a lot of because there's an Air Force base here. Countless people who retire from the Air Force, they come back. Cost of living is much lower. So your money goes further. And so you have so many people from different areas that are here. A lot of cats from Cali, man. A lot of cats from Cali.
Really?
Yeah, it's people from all over here. So right here on the coast, I think everybody that comes is pleasantly surprised when they visit the coast. Like I said, there's beaches, there's everything. But yeah,
I've never been to the coast. I've been to Mississippi many times. I've never been that far south in Mississippi. So we got to come, man. Me and the wife got to come.
You're going to be like, wow, this is Mississippi. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a best kept secret. Yeah. So
okay, okay, man, Dorsey. We gonna keep in touch, and we gonna make that trip down there sometime in the next year.
Please come on down, man. Yeah. I got you. I got you.
For sure. I appreciate that. I'm going to be hitting you up. All right. So we're going to get into some fun stuff, man. It's been a long episode. We're getting toward the end. But before we go, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We like to play some games on this episode, on this podcast, not just talk about the serious stuff and, everything ain't inspiration. Sometimes it's all about 2 people having some camaraderie and some fun. So,
all right.
With that last question. So with that last question addressed, it's time for a game of Who Got It? I hope you're ready for
All right,
this.
all right.
All right. All right, my brother. So you from Chicago. You spent time as an undergraduate in Nashville, Tennessee, going to TSU, and you now reside in the southernmost city in Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. So we need to know who got it. Not everybody watching this episode or watching this show has been to Chicago. Not everybody has been to Mississippi. Not everybody has even been to Nashville. So the answer to your questions might help somebody consider some things.
Okay.
So here we go. All right, who got it? Chicago, Nashville, or Mississippi?
All right.
Who got the best food?
Oh man, Chicago. Like it's hands down, hands down. Chicago's a food city. So many different cultures. It's a city of neighborhoods, man. You have so many immigrant populations just over the years. You know, you got Little Italy, you got Greek Town, you got Chinatown. Of course, you got the South Side. You got oh man, nobody can tell Chicago food, man. I'm that's who got it.
For sure, for sure. I can agree with that amongst those three.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an option because you could have said, you in the South, Mississippi, they might do something down there that ain't nobody else doing. Like you could be like, hey, Chicago got it, but down here in Mississippi, we do X, Y, Z, or Nashville, X, Y, Z. But for Chicago,
I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead.
So many people from Mississippi migrated to Chicago, so all the flavors you want are up there. That's why I say that. That's why
I agree. So they probably back down in Mississippi too.
Yeah.
You can find a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I know Chicago has a lot to offer. Hell, one of the biggest food events in the world happens there every year. The Taste of Chicago.
Oh yeah, I grew up going to it. Grew up going to it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, man. Who got it? Chicago, Nashville, or Mississippi? You just talked about this earlier. Who got the best weather?
Oh man, I would say I'm gonna have to give it to Nashville. Only because, man, there's a hurricane threat here. You know, we do get hurricanes here. If you've never experienced,
you down there, but yeah,
you never experienced
Katrina, yeah,
man. Hey, that's it's not nice. It's not nice. Even if it doesn't hit you, it's just so stressful and nerve wracking trying to figure out if it's gonna hit you and do I evacuate and and then Chicago's just too cold. So you got Nashville right in the middle. So I man, I'm gonna have to tip my hat to Nashville on the weather.
Nashville got the best weather. Yeah, Chicago, man. That hawk in Chicago ain't no joke, bro. I've been to downtown. I mean, you from there, you live there, but it might be different to you because you used to it. Come a Cali boy, man. I remember going there freshman or sophomore year. We went there. A group of us went there, and we went to the Taste of Chicago, I think. And then at that night, we were walking around downtown, and we came around this corner, man. That wind came off the lake like. God,
yeah.
Man, it felt like I was naked outside.
No, the irony is, I didn't understand that until I left. When I was a senior,
you were used to it.
When I was a senior in high school, my daily uniform was a baseball cap, a T-shirt, and a leather jacket. Every day, wow. January, February, that's what I wore every day. And my, the cars you drive in high school. My car in high school, I ain't had no heat. I didn't have heat in my car, and I'm T-shirt, baseball cap all winter long. Kid you not.
So you used to the car
till I spent those 4 years in Nashville and got soft, and then I couldn't do it. And now, oh my gosh. Now,
you don't even want to go home in the winter, huh?
No.
Yeah.
So Nashville.
Yeah, man. Chicago is crazy, man. Y'all went to high school together, but I spent some time in Chicago on the South Side as a result, and been up there many times in the summer and in the winter, man. And man, them winters in Chicago I hated them trips. I enjoyed going there for family, but I knew I was not going to be comfortable. I knew I couldn't wait to get out of there for the cold, man. The snow on top of the houses you fly over the houses trying to land in Chicago, and the houses, they all look like cupcakes with icing on top.
You know what you're in for.
you're like, man, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Who got it? Chicago, Nashville, or Mississippi? Who got the best overall quality of life?
Honestly, man, I tip my hat to Mississippi, specifically down here on the coast where I am. And my family and I, we talk about this all the time. My dad is he's 90, and he's down here. And like last Monday, this it was end of October, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a Monday evening, like 5 o'clock. I'd gotten off work. It's 75 degrees outside. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day. And I'm like, hey, let's do a little fishing before it gets dark. I go pick him up, go park by the water, like right on the water, free, free parking, no traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Out here fishing, chilling,
Mm-hmm.
catching the breeze. And we looking at each other like, where you gonna do this? Like, where
Back home.
where can you do this? So just such a easier pace, no real traffic. You know what I mean? I was showing Big G at homecoming because I was looking at Nashville home prices. And I was looking at Big
Mm-hmm.
G and I showed him a house in my neighborhood. Nice house, man. It was like 2,000 square feet, like 4 bed, 3 bath. I was like, gee, what you think of this house? He's like, oh man, it's like 500-600. It was like 200,000, 220,
Hey, bro, they still going like that down
220.
there?
He was like, what?
Right.
So yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
People say it's slow, and it is slower, but I'm good with slower at this point in my life.
Yeah. Heck
I'm
yeah.
good. And when I want to, man, I can drive an hour and 15 minutes and be on Canal Street in New Orleans, on Bourbon Street, if I just felt
Yeah.
like I need the noise, I need the city. But
Mm-hmm.
I found over the years it was just less and less of that for me. So I'm good, man. Quality of life, I'm gonna have to get it to the coast. I can't speak on the rest of Mississippi.
Uh, Other parts of
Can't speak
Mississippi.
on that, but the Mississippi Gulf Coast, yeah,
Yeah.
I had to tip my
Have
hat.
the quality of life
Yeah, I
there.
had to tip my hat.
That's dope.
Yes,
That mad respect too, man. I can't wait to come down and visit, man. And
please.
shoot, I agree with that. When you get to a certain age, all of the hoopla and the ripping and running, and the fanfare of everything, kind of simmers a little bit. You're like, I've been there, I've done that. I can do it again, but only every now and
Yeah,
then. So I don't need to be in the center of it all the time.
no, absolutely
I
not.
prefer to be out the way so I can enjoy my peace 90% of my
Yeah,
time.
and think. You can
Hmm.
think and see things. So
And breathe,
breathe.
man.
But you gotta come down. I'm
All
gonna
right,
hold you to it.
please do, please do. All right, we got two more. Who got it? Chicago, Nashville, or Mississippi? Who is the most diverse?
Um, hmm, I'm going to say with an asterisk by it. I'm gonna say Chicago is the most diverse. The problem is Chicago is the most segregated city I've ever lived in, visited, been in my life.
Yeah.
So you have all this diversity, but there's so much segregation at the same time. You know.
Explain that for the people watching what you mean. I know what you mean by that, but explain how it's broken down in
So
Chicago.
Chicago is a city of neighborhoods, and then just if you know anything about like urban history and uh, redlining and things like that, certain groups of people like legally, right, and through shady practices were kept in certain areas, and that was called redlining. If you were like my parents couldn't get a mortgage in certain neighborhoods, like no bank would
Hmm.
finance them. I mean, that was policy, that was corporate policy, and a lot of immigrants came to Chicago, and they gravitated to where their people were. So these neighborhoods kind of like grew and flourished. So you got Mexican neighborhoods, Puerto Rican neighborhoods, you got Chinese neighborhoods, Polish neighborhoods, Italian, like literally. So yeah, all
And explain further. Like most people, a neighborhood is like a tract of homes, 80 to 100 some homes. Explain what a neighborhood in Chicago
Oh
is like.
man, you talking about square miles as opposed to blocks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the culture is so strong there. I mean, you're still places in Chicago, neighborhoods in Chicago where most of the signs are in Polish. Like, you know,
Mm.
you go to
Yeah.
Chinatown and like most of the signs are in Chinese, and they got Chinese newspapers, like Chinese language newspapers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the it was just there was segregation, there was some racism, you know, there was some
Mm-hmm.
racism, but for the most part, you know, that was a treat to go to Chinatown and we're gonna eat. So if
Mm-hmm.
we want Chinese food or if we wanted some Mexican food, you know, when you talk about food earlier, you know, there may be a couple Mexican restaurants here or there, or whatever, but like you can go to a Mexican neighborhood where people are making, you know,
Authentic.
tortillas, where they got
Mm-hmm.
carnicerias, which you know coming from California. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they got my dad would get the special cuts of beef and stuff like that. You know, you talking
Mm-hmm.
fajitas, steak fajitas. I mean, you talking about if you don't know, you don't know. Like if all you
Yeah.
if your thing has been chain restaurants and you know, and then you go to a authentic neighborhood where they like it's night and day.
Yeah.
Like it's night and day. So um the diversity is there. The and you know you're welcome to come visit, but there was just so much insulation. You know, they kept themselves kind of insulated. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing about Chicago that I didn't appreciate, you know. Um
Yeah.
so but Chicago is
Well,
definitely
you
the
just
most
gamed
diverse.
diverse. You just gamed us up for real. A little bit some education on that. I mean, I kind of knew where you were going with
Hmm.
it, but for those who don't know how Chicago is made up, is different than even some other big major cities. It's a very different. Like I remember driving blocks and blocks and blocks, and you're like, okay, we still in Little Italy.
Yeah.
We driving blocks and blocks and blocks. Okay, we're in Ethiopia, little
Oh yeah.
Ethiopia now. You know what I'm saying? Like everything.
Yeah.
Um, all right, man, we got one more. All right, you've been to college, in two
Hmm.
places, in Nashville and in
Yeah.
Chicago. You now live in Mississippi. All three of them, the home of some very great institutions.
Hmm.
So, Chicago, Nashville, and Mississippi, who got the best group of colleges? And that's you can put you don't have to list them all, but you can consider whatever you want to consider in those groupings: HBCUs, PWIs, technical colleges, big, small, whatever.
Yeah.
But you got Illinois, you got or Chicago, we're not talking about the whole state of Illinois.
Hmm.
We're really talking about Chicago. We're really talking about Nashville, not the whole state of Tennessee. But we are talking about the whole state of Mississippi.
I got you. Um, I think I would tip my hat to now. There's some big universities in Chicago, um, but for that experience, I would have to tip my hat to Nashville, and I say that because Chicago State is in Chicago. Chicago State University it's an HBCU, um, but you don't have the same experience like you would have like a Tennessee State. Chicago State is predominantly black, but it's not. It doesn't have a. It's just not as old. It doesn't have a history of like a TSU. It doesn't have the community. Um, it's not embedded in it like a TSU. And
Mm-hmm.
then you know
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I enjoyed about being a TSU. You know, we had friends at Vanderbilt, and you know you can go over to Vanderbilt and get like a different experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Fisk, you know, and you know I never really spent a lot of time at Belmont, but you got Belmont, and you know, so I think I think Nashville might be the ultimate college town, although people don't even realize that. I mean, it's so much different now, you know. But like
Mm-hmm.
especially back in the
Mm-hmm.
day when we were there, it's kind of like the ultimate college town. It's big enough to be a
Yeah.
city. So if you're from a urban, you know, like I'm from Chicago, where I wouldn't get too homesick, but it's small enough to be, to give you that community feel as well. Chicago has some amazing schools, but for the most part, I mean, you got Northwestern, that's kind of in the north suburbs, but for the most part, people in school, they just going to school in Chicago.
Yeah.
You going to handle business, DePaul has a little culture. They have like a little on-campus culture, but for the most part, you going to handle business. And Nashville, you going to handle business, but you also going to experience that life as well. And so that's why I would tip my hat to Nashville on that. Mississippi's got some nice schools. They're spread out though, Jackson has Jackson State and Tougaloo. But then you got Alcorn, you got Valley, but they're a few hours away. I like Nashville because it's kind of all there together. So that's why I tip my hat to
Nashville. To Nashville, man, that's dope, man. There's a dope list. You said so on Who Got It. You said Chicago it's the best food going to Chicago. Best weather is going to the Gulf of Mississippi where you're living right now. It's understated, so y'all need to go check out Gaither, Mississippi.
Gaucher.
See, I told you I'm gonna mess it up. That's why I had you say it earlier in the episode. Gaucher, Mississippi. The best overall quality of life also went to Gaucher.
Now remember, I gave weather to Nashville because of the hurricanes down here. So
that's right. My bad. You gave weather to Nashville.
Yeah. But quality of life,
because you mentioned it
here. Yeah.
For sure. My bad. That's right. The weather goes to Nashville. You did mention the hurricanes there. Quality of life, Gaucher, Mississippi, the most diverse. You gave the most diverse to Chicago, but with an asterisk, because of the segregation of the diversity. So, that's an interesting dynamic in Chicago. And then the best grouping of colleges going to the home state, Nashville, or hometown.
Yeah, that's my second
Nashville,
home.
Tennessee.
That's my second home.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna always be my second home.
It's mine too.
Yeah,
it's mine too. I live here now, but it's my second. I was born and raised. You know where I was born and raised, but I feel just equally a Tennessean as much as I do a Californian at this stage in my life, because I've been living here more than half my life at this point.
Yeah, I got to make me some money, man, so I can get me a place up there, man. You got to have some paper to live in Nashville now. A
little bit, man, but I mean, Nashville is just getting more expensive because so many people are moving.
They're realizing what's there, huh?
Realizing what's there. And then people coming from places like California that, prices are super exorbitant, the government running rampant, and they just like, I got to get out of here. I got to save me some money. I got to be I know most of the people that I know in California, they working 2 or 3 full-time jobs.
Trying to keep up,
just trying to support the lifestyle. And I get it, man, because you can't beat the weather. You can't beat the diversity. You can't beat certain things. And certain things in California, you're just not going to get somewhere else, but you're going to pay for that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had a friend that moved to Irvine. He went to TSU. He was my brother's friend. He moved to Irvine and in Orange County. And I remember he bought a house. This is like 20 years ago, man. And it was house cost $1 million. And I'm like, I got to come out. $1 million house. I'm like, oh man, I can't, I gotta go see this. No. And man, he picked me up. We pulled up, and I'm like, oh, we stopping at his partner house or something to grab something before we get on to the, to the $1 million house.
To the house.
And he's like, nah, we home. And I'm like,
this is it.
Like this the million.
You paid $1 million for this?
I mean, houses. One house is here. One house is here. I mean, where there's no acreage, I'm looking for, And he was like, this is like average,
Yeah. Like, and he pulled up like, I'm happy. This is my crib. I got this. I got a deal on it.
I got a deal on it. And I'm like, what? So
I talked him down from 1.8.
Right. And at that time, I had just moved to Mississippi. So, man, even now, man, $1 million down here. Oh man, you yeah,
Oh,
you're gonna be in some acres
yeah, you
with some
for real. You live in large down there, $1 million down there.
yeah.
It's going a long
So
way.
I get you, man. So yeah, you can come to Nashville from Cali, and they talking about 500-600. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
keep the change.
Man, we're almost at the very end, man. I'm gonna give you a moment to talk about this, but so you're talking in front of a room of first day TSU college freshmen, right?
hmm
First day at TSU. What words of advice or wisdom do you impart upon them to enhance their HBCU experience?
I would say, and this is something that I learned later in my career at TSU. Uh, Participate in everything you could possibly can. Even if you don't know if you would really like it or not. Clubs, organizations, groups. If a professor is offering you an opportunity to do something, just do it, because there's so many opportunities there. Honda used to do, I don't know if they still do it. They used to do a HBCU quiz bowl every year.
I remember that.
I was
hmm
on the quiz bowl team when I was a senior. And I remember I was in class, my professor's Dr. Ward, he was the sponsor that year. And he was like, yeah, we putting together a quiz bowl team, and I need some, I need some volunteers. And nobody raised their hand, and he was like, not
hmm
really, like, we putting this team together. I need some, and I raised my hand, and he was like, Dorsey, okay. And I said, no, 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 no. I have a question. And he was like, okay, you're on the team. Now ask your question. And I was like, man, no. And I couldn't tell him no. He was,
Yeah.
I was like, man, all right. But from
Yeah.
that,
I think I remember that. I think I remember when seeing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But from that, man,
hmm
they flew us to Orlando. We stayed in the Walt Disney World Hilton for like 4 days, like all these catered meals. They took us to
Yeah.
Universal. I mean,
hmm
it was like, it was laid out just from participating in this quiz bowl. This is something that I would have never done. That's what I mean. Like, there's so many opportunities. You don't know. You don't know what it's
hmm
going to be like. Just, you can hear the name of a group or organization. Like, I'm not interested in it. Man, you don't know. Sign up for everything. If you don't
Yeah.
like it, don't keep participating. Just like, you know what, this is not for me. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to find something else. But man, you just never know. There's so many opportunities that people don't take advantage of
hmm
at any school, but at TSU. And I think if you just give stuff a try, just give it a try, just see if you might like it. You never know what your interests are. That would be my advice. Man, sign up for everything.
Yeah. Sign up.
Participate.
Put your name on the
Put your
list.
name on the list. You go to at least one meeting. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah. And show
yeah, we
up.
went to the National Student Business League. We signed up for that, Dave and I, and it's like, all right, NSBL. Went to the first meeting. It's like, man, we're going to, yeah, come on, man, we're going to this meeting. It was like on a Monday night. We sitting there, and they're like, okay, so our trip to New Orleans is in 3 weeks. We like, what? Because there was a
You're
conference.
like, we going to New Orleans?
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
conference, and we were like, well, are we allowed to go? We just joined. They're like, you in a group, right? We're like, yeah. Man, 3 weeks later, we going to New Orleans, staying on Canal Street,
See?
National Student Business League conference. Kids from all over the country there. Right across from Bourbon Street. Every night we on Bourbon Street. I mean, this was free. We
Do
didn't
it.
pay a dime, and we met so many people just because we signed up for the National Student Business League and went to a meeting.
hmm
So it's like,
That's dope. Yeah.
there's money. There's money allocated to these groups and that they
hmm
have to use, and you don't even know.
hmm
You don't
hmm
even know. That quiz ball, they bought us clothes.
Is
They you know they bought us khakis and
hmm
shirts, and they bought us clothes. Like, so participate. That's how you get the most out of your experience, man. Participate.
That's dope, man. That's a good word, Dorsey. I'm over here with smiles because we're encouraging young men and young women to be active, to be engaged, in their experience, in their college experience,
Mhm.
and participate. That's a perfect word. I didn't know what you would say, but that's a perfect word to tell a group of people because college, especially at HBCU, is all about the experience.
Mhm.
And the way that you enhance that experience is by being active, being involved. The way that you graduate and you're able to have lasting relationships with people that feel like family is that you participate and get involved with things. And the more things you get involved with, the more intimate you and close relationships you build with people. So when you come back to homecoming, you remember them, they remember you, and there's like a bond there. When I go back to home, when I went back to homecoming, I know so many people from TSU, but I know them from different things.
Mm. Mm.
Some of them I had classes with. Some of them I know them from. I was a Delta Bowl, like a
Yeah, yeah,
organization
yeah,
that supported the Deltas.
yeah.
I did that. Some I know from that experience, and then they asked me if you want to be, you want to lead the next line. I was like, yeah, nah, but all right, and I did
Why
that.
not?
And so that gave me a little bit of cachet, and I met more people, and developed some deeper relationships with people, and doing that, took Africana Studies class, and then
Yep.
you want to you want to be in a great debate. No, I don't want to be in a great debate, but I'll participate. And I participated. I wasn't a debater, but I was a moderator,
Yeah.
and they had a little fashion show segment. You just modeling some koofies and stuff
Right.
like that. But but I was up there doing that. You know what I'm saying? And as a result, there's a lot of people that I know just from Africana Studies. Like
Wow.
I didn't have no relationship with them at TSU outside of that class, and I still know them to this day. But I know them because I had Africana Studies classes with them, or I participated in those events with
Yeah.
them. So anyway, I'll piggyback off what you said, man. That's a powerful statement. Participate, get active. You never know what's going to come out of it. Even if it comes to signing up for something, we had I took hotel and restaurant
I remember
administration,
that.
right? And Charlie's came to one of our classes, somebody from a corporate office in O'Charlie's,
Mm.
and they came to one of our classes and was talking to us about their corporation, about different things in the industry. And at the end, they threw out an offer there for to offer a $500 scholarship, little stipend kind of
Mm.
scholarship. But $500 back then was a
That's,
lot of
it
money. You
still
know what I'm
is.
saying? And it still is. Back then it went a lot further,
Yeah.
but it still is a lot of money to this day. And all you had to do was write a one page description about yourself and why you think you deserve that $500.
Wow.
Why I won it because I was the only person who wrote something.
Really?
So I mean, I'm not saying I had the best, but I didn't have the worst. Who
You
knows?
participated.
But I participated and I got that $500.
That's what's up.
Somebody else could have participated and might have got it. But even if no, like that's why you should always, put that first, put that front foot in front of the other one, first foot in front of the other one, and participate and show up and be active and give yourself an opportunity for success, man. We getting ready to close this one, Dorsey. You are another weapon, and your book is another weapon. Your book is titled "Who Told You That You Were
Yeah.
Naked?" It released August 27th. You can find it on Amazon.com. You can find it. What is it at Barnes and Nobles as
Right now,
well? Where else is it?
Amazon.com. That's my outlet right now.
I'm getting ready to give you the floor. Take the floor, Dorsey. The moment is yours. Talk about your book. Talk about where people can find you. Any other thing that you want to share with the audience that we haven't covered yet? The floor is
Oh,
yours.
appreciate it. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Who told you that you were naked? Overcoming anxiety and depression by trusting the promises of God. It's available on Amazon.com. The easiest way, there are a couple other books with the same title. So the easiest way is to search for my name, Dorsey West, DorseywWest. Search for my name. You can purchase it. It's like I said, it's a relatively short read, but it's powerful. I think that the message that I'm conveying can really help you find immediate relief, and that was my goal. I wanted people, like I said earlier, to feel as good as possible as quickly as possible. So that's my goal. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via social media. I do have a website in the back of the book. It's wearenotnaked.com, and it's a community. I'm collecting email addresses right now because I'm trying to build a community where we can share and give people a safe space to talk about different things, because I want people to put these things into practice. I don't want this to be a book where it says I wrote a book and I kind of checked that off my bucket list or what have you. It's like, okay, yeah, I wrote a book. No, I really want this to impact lives and really help people, because you're not alone. Anything that you are struggling with, I guarantee you're not the only one. You're not the only one in your circle. I've been there. Other people have been there, and support is there. Support is there. You just have to take the step of letting people know, hey, I need some help. And I guarantee you help will be there, and it will come from people and entities that you would have never imagined. But you have to, I will put that on you. You have to take that step and say, yeah, I'm struggling. I need some help. And people will help you. You'd be amazed. Yep.
Man, that's a great submission to the world of humanity. Your book is a great submission to humanity. I'll encourage you to go pick it up. If you know someone who's dealing with anxiety, someone who's dealing with depression, someone who's looking for answers and where to go in their mind, what direction to take their life, because they're questioning the value of it. You want to tap into Dorsey West, DorseywWest. The book is called Who Told You That You Were Naked? What's the rest of it?
Overcoming anxiety and depression by trusting the promises of God.
Yes. All right. So you can find that. The link will be down below in the description, so you can quickly access that and share it. Once again, this has been another episode of the Revisit Your Dreams podcast. I want to thank you, Dorsey, for being here. I want to thank you, audience, for tuning in and sticking with us for this lengthy episode. We hope that you got something out of it. I hope that you will share it with someone who you know that might get something from it. I ask you to subscribe to this channel. I want to remind you that our episodes air Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for everyone out there on the West Coast. Dorsey, man, we got to link up soon. I'll be in touch with you. But this has been another episode of Revisit Your Dreams. One love. We out.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Hang tight real quick.
Okay.